and welcome to the Tuesday 10:40 mat class. What I'll get everyone to do is we're going to start by lying down on our mat on your back with your knees bent. So coming down to the mat, finding that comfortable position, and we're going to start off with just a few pelvic tilts to get that lower tummy sorted and activated, followed by some leg slides. So we're going to place our hands on top of those hip bones at the front there. And we're going to take a breath into the belly. And as we breathe out, like we're zipping up a zipper from our pubic bone to our belly button, we're going to activate that lower tummy and tuck our pelvis underneath us, and your low back will come down closer to the ground. As we breathe in, breathing into the belly, and your pelvis will tilt the other way and your low back will arch off the ground. So we're going to breathe out, zipper up, tightening through that lower abdominal area as we tuck, breathing in, letting the belly expand and our tailbone pushes into the ground. Breathe out, tucking, and breathe in, opening. Breathe out, tucking, tightening those lower abs, and breathing in, expanding. We're going to do two more of these. So we're going to feel that lower tummy do this work, and then breathe in, relax, tilt you the other way. Last one, tucking, just use those abs not to squeeze the bottom, and then breathing in, opening up and tilting the other way. And now we're going to find our neutral pelvis position. So with this position, what you're going to do is you're just going to rock your pelvis backwards and forwards until you find that spot where your dimples in your low back are in contact with the ground. You'll have a little arch in your low back, kind of like you're making a little snug cave for a blueberry around where your belly button is in your back. We're not letting it roll around, we're not flattening it completely. Now we want to keep our pelvis in this position for the next lot of exercises. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. As we breathe out, we're going to zipper up and tighten those lower abs, and we're going to slide our left leg out along the ground, keeping that pelvis nice and steady, and then breathing in to bring it back in. Breathing out, we're going to do our right leg now. Breathe out, sliding, and in to bring it back in. If you have really tight hip flexors, you might not be able to fully straighten your leg as we reach out with that left leg and in to bring it back in. Go with what range feels comfortable for you. So if you go to the point and you're like, oh, my pelvis and my back are starting to move here, don't go any further. What you should feel as you breathe out and slide is that lower abdominal just working a little bit harder to control your neutral pelvis position. Breathing out, reaching through that right leg. If you want to make this a little bit harder, float your leg above the ground rather than sliding it. Breathe out, reach, and in to come back in. Keeping the top half nice and relaxed. Reach with that right, and in to bring it back in. One more each side. Breathe out, reach, and in to bring it back in. And then your right, and in to bring it back in. What we're going to do now is we're going to do 5 on each side of our single leg dead bug or single leg floats. We're going to do the breathing a little bit differently with this one. So instead of breathing out to float it up, you're going to breathe in to float up. So we're going to start out by breathing out and activating our lower abdominals. And then we're going to breathe in, floating up your left leg into tabletop. So 90-90, and then breathing out to lower it down. Let's go with the right leg. Left leg again. Breathing in and then breathing out to come down. So 3 more on this left leg. Breathe in and out. Try not to lose that neutral pelvis, guys. Keeping the tummy engaged. Breathe in and out. 1 more to go. Breathe in and out. Let's go with the right leg this time. So we're going to breathe out, engage and zipper up. And then we're going to breathe in, floating that right leg up. And breathe out, lower. One side might feel a little bit heavier than the other. Breathe in, float. And that's fine. You might find that you have to concentrate a little bit harder on engaging through those abdominals as we float the leg up and prepping a little bit better. Really depends on you. Breathing in for 4, And breathe out, lowering it down. One more. Floating up. And then down. Pausing at the bottom here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that left leg. And we're going to do 4 on this side of our double leg lift. So this one's going to be a little bit harder to control that neutral pelvis position. So we're going to start off exactly the same. We breathe out, prep to zipper up, breathing in to float up that left leg. We're going to breathe out, float up the right, try not to move the pelvis. Breathe in, pause. We breathe out, float down your left, and then your right. Breathe out, zipper, go with the left again. Breathe in, left leg. Breathe out, right. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out, left, then right. Breathe out, zipper. Breathe in, left leg. Breathe out, right. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out, and then in. Last one with this left side. Breathe out, engage. Breathe in, float. Breathe out. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out, left leg, and then in to drop the right. So now we're going to do 4 on this right side, exactly the same. What we're going to do now, breathe out, zipper up, then breathe in, float that right leg up. Breathe out, the left. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out, right. And left. Breathe out, tummy on. Breathe in, right leg. Then left. Pause, right, then left. 2 more on this right side, guys. Try and keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. Breathe in, float it up. Breathe out, other leg joins. Down, and then down. 1 more. Breathe in, right leg. Breathe out, left. Breathe in, pause. Breathe out, right, and then left. Now what you're going to do is we're going to have both of those legs up into that tabletop position, and we're going to do those legs slide out up in this position here. So come up into that tabletop position with both legs, however you see fit. If this is too difficult, keep your feet down on the ground and do that first exercise again. So keeping this engaged, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe out. We're going to start with that left leg, reaching nice and long, keeping that pelvis in neutral, in to come back in. Breathe out, reach, in to come back in. And reach. And back in. Reach. And back in. 6 more. 6. And back in. Breathe out, reach for 5. And back in. Make sure those lower abdominals are engaged and your neck and shoulders are relaxed. 2 more to go. 2. And then 1. Coming back in and just hugging those knees to your chest and let those abdominals have a little bit of a break, because what we're going to do now is our toe taps. So we're going to come back up into that tabletop position. We're going to keep that tummy on. What we're going to do now is 10 toe taps, alternating legs. Breathe out, toe goes down, and in to bring it back up. I only go as far with this one, guys, as you maintain neutral spine. So if you only move like a centimetre or 2 and you've got good control, I'm a pretty happy woman in regards to that sort of control over distance, okay? If you are able to touch the ground, it is just like a little tap. We don't want to have any weight that lands there, because we do want those abdominals, as we do these last 2, to be working throughout this whole movement. And then once again, knees to chest for that little break. What we're going to do now, float one leg and then your other leg down. We're going to do a few bridging series now, because we've worked quite a fair bit through the front part of our body. What we're going to do now is start working on the glutes and the hamstrings, and of course those lower arms. So what we are going to do here is we're going to think about where our feet are on the ground. So they should be nice and parallel distance and flat. So we don't want more pressure going in your heels or your toes, inside or outside of your feet with this exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to zipper up, have a slight tuck of your pelvis, and then we're going to lift that pelvis up into the air, and we're feeling that spine peel off the floor like we're peeling a sticker off. At the top here, take a breath in. We should be resting between our shoulder blades. And as we breathe out, we're going to soften and melt back down like we're laying that sticker back down, segment by segment, keeping the pressure in our feet equal. Take a breath in at the bottom here. We're going to breathe out. We're going to tuck and lift. Segment by segment, pushing our feet down into the ground to get the back of the legs working. Take a breath in at the top and then breathing out to roll back down. Breathing in at the bottom. Breathing out. Tuck and roll up. Feet into the ground. Working through the glutes and the back of your legs, so the hamstring area. And then breathing out to come back down. If you are feeling this in your back, it might be that your glutes and hamstrings are not doing the work or working hard enough as we breathe and roll up. But it could also be that at the top here, you're coming up a little bit too high and resting on those the top of your shoulder blades. And you can see how my ribs are poking out. If you drop the ribs down, you'll feel how you work harder through the lower half. Now let's just do a few more of these. So we're going to do another 2, and then we're going to change it up a little bit and make it a little bit harder. Rolling up. And then breathing out to roll down. A nice little thought process with this is sometimes I like to think about as I come on up is that my spine is growing long over the top of my feet. So my knees are reaching over my feet here. And then breathing out to come down, still keeping that reach through those legs. Now we're going to do 4 on each side here. But what we're going to do is we're going to creep our right foot about half a foot distance further away. So we're in like this little split stance here. What this is going to do is it's going to make your left leg work a little bit harder. We're going to do 4 of the exact same movement, keeping the pelvis nice and level. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe out, engage, tuck, and roll up. And we should feel how that left leg is working just a little bit harder. And then breathing out to come back down, making sure if you need to, placing those hands on your hips. Breathing out, rolling up to make sure that pelvis is staying nice and steady. Breathing in at the top and then breathing out to come back down. Now, if you are feeling this in your back or it's a little bit too difficult, you can bring your feet a little bit closer together in terms of instead of one foot being further away, you can make the distance less. And breathing out to come down. But if it is too hard, just go back to 2 legs in the same position that we did before. Breathing out, coming on up. And then breathing out to come back down. And that should be 4 repetitions. Now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to bring that right foot back and we're going to move that left foot a little bit further away, about half a foot distance away. We're going to do 4 on this right-hand side, working harder. We're going to breathe out, engage and tighten, tuck and roll. Try to think about keeping the pelvis nice and steady with this one and working a little bit harder through that right glute and hamstring region and coming back down. Breathing in, breathing out, tummy, roll up. Think about peeling the spine off the floor, taking a breath in at the top and then letting it melt back down, segment by segment. Taking a breath in, breathing out, tighten and roll. Breathing in at the top and then breathing out to roll back down. Should have 1 more to go. Breathing out, rolling up. Think of the spine lengthening over the top of your foot and back down. Beautiful. Now, if you go, let's make it a little bit harder. I'm going to do 3 on each side of this one. We're going to do some single leg ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant that left foot down and your right leg will come up into tabletop or straight. You can pick your poison. Tabletop's a little bit easier. What you're going to do here is you're going to take a breath in to prepare and then we're going to breathe out. We're going to do the exact same movement, lifting it up. Take a breath in at the top and breathing back down. Now, this one makes you work the hardest out of all 3 variations. But if it is too hard as we breathe out and reach up, it's absolutely fine to have your foot down on the ground and back down. You can always build up to this exercise. Just do what feels right in your body without causing any pain or problems. And back down. Let's bring that right leg down and floating up your left. Okay, so 3 on this right leg now. Breathing out and lift. Breathing in at the top and breathing out to come back down. Breathe in at the bottom. Breathing out, tummy tuck and lift. We're going to be using those glutes and the hamstring muscles quite a fair bit with this one. And we've got one more to do after this, okay? Then we're going to do some knee rocks. Breathing out. Up we come. Breathing in at the top. And then breathing out to come back down and floating that left leg down. Let's bring our feet and knees together and our arms will go out from the body about 45 degrees. Now from here, we're going to do our knee rocks. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in and let the knees fall to the left-hand side of the body. As we breathe out, we're going to hold it. And then we're going to breathe in to bring our body back to the middle. Breathe out, engage the tummy in the neutral. Breathe in, off to the right-hand side this time. Breathe out, hold. Breathe in, back to the center. And with this one, we want to make sure our neck and our shoulders stay nice and heavy on the bed. Breathing in, off to the left. Breathe out, engage. Breathe in, back to the center. Thinking about how heavy your head and arms and shoulders are into the floor. Breathe in. Breathe out, hold. And then breathe in back to the center. We're going to do one more each side and we're going to make it a little bit harder, okay? So we're going to breathe in, off to the left-hand side. Breathe out. Think about those tummy muscles a little bit more. Breathe in, back to the center. Breathe out. Tummy on. Breathe in, off to the right. Breathe out, hold. Breathe in, back to the center. Now you can stay in that position as we go on to the next one if you're feeling like your back's a bit fatigued. But if you want a little bit more of a challenge, we've got 2 more to do and 2 more different exercises to do of variations, should I say. So what we're going to do is we're going to be in this tabletop position, making sure you're still in neutral spine and engaging through those lower abs. Now from here, what we're going to do, keep the knees and ankles together. We're going to breathe in, off to the left-hand side, breathe out, hold. Breathing in to come back. Keeping the neck and shoulders relaxed. Breathe in, off to the right-hand side. Breathe out, steady. Breathe in, come back. Breathe out, then breathe in, off to the left. Breathe in, pause. Or breathe out, pause, and then breathe in to come back. Breathe out, hold. Breathe in, off to the right. Breathe out, hold. Breathe in, back to the center. Now we're going to do one more of this variation to each side, and then we're going to make it a little bit harder. So we're going to go to that left-hand side. We're going to pause as we breathe out, and then we're going to breathe in to bring it back in. And then off to the right-hand side. Pause, and then back in. Now, if that felt okay for your back, what we're going to do is we're going to straighten either one leg or 2 legs when you're out in that twisted position to make it a bit harder on those abs. So we're going to breathe out, engage. Breathe in, off to the left-hand side. Breathe out, reach, come back, and then back to the center. What we're going to do, let's go over to the right. So we breathe in, breathe out, reach, and back, and breathe in, go back to the center. Engage. Let's do 2 more each side, so 4 more in total. Over, reach, back, in to come back in. Breathe out, breathe in, coming on over. Breathe out, straighten, bend, breathe in, back to the center. 1 more each side. What we're going to do, breathe in, off to the left, reach, bend, and then back. That's it, neck and shoulders relaxed. Over, reach, back, coming back in, and then 1 leg and 2 leg down on the floor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a hamstring stretch, because now we should be a little bit nice and warmed up in those legs. We're going to grab your left leg, holding your knees behind, holding your leg behind your knees. Now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to just do 4. You're going to breathe out and reach. Doesn't matter if you can't fully straighten your leg, and in, come back in. And reach. And back, and we should feel that bit of a stretch through the back of the leg and your quads working to try and straighten that leg. And on this last one, I want you to hold it, and we're going to bring our toes towards our head and point the toes. Toes towards our head, point the toes. 2 more, toes and point like your last, toes and point, leg comes down. Let's grab that right leg. What we're going to do here is we're going to lift and lower, just within your range. Don't force this one. 3, and back down on this last one. We're going to come up and hold, toes to head and point. Toes to head and point. Toes to head and point. 1 more, toes to head and point, and back down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over to one side. I'm going to be on my left-hand side with this exercise, and we're going to let our head rest down on your arm. I'm just going to let my head rest up on my hand just so I can see what's going on. So with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to do our clams, and then we're going to go into our clam kicks. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to float both of those legs up into the air, okay? If this is a bit hard for you to hold, you're more than welcome to chuck a pillow underneath your knees and legs. Sorry. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to breathe out, engage, push those heels together and lift that top leg up. And then in to bring the knee back down. We're going to breathe out, squeeze and lift the knee, and in to bring it back down. So we want to feel this one in your glute muscles. We don't necessarily want to feel it from the front part of your thigh. If so, you might feel like you need to bring your knees a little bit higher, and that's absolutely fine. Not everybody has the same length in their muscles or their bones. So sometimes we have to kind of jig things around to kind of find what works for us. So this should be number 9 and back down. And 10, we're going to hold this open and we're going to do 10 kicks in this clam position. So we're going to straighten the leg. So 1, 2, try not to let that leg drop. 3, 4, 5, that's it. 6, 7, 8, 2 more to go. 9 and 10. Feet together, knees together. Now what we're going to do, while your legs are in this bent position, I want you to bring them down so that your knees are almost in line with your body. Now what we can do here is we're going to come on up onto our shoulder, and we're just going to do a few prep warm-up as we do our side knee planks, I guess you could call them. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to relax down like we're sitting at the beach chatting with a mate. And then from here, we're going to push our elbow down. We're going to lift the ribs and we're going to feel nice and long through the neck. And this is just to help warm up this top part of our body. We're going to come back down like we're chatting with our friends at the beach. And we're going to push down, lift and long. Hold this for a second and coming back down. With this one, go as far as you feel comfortable going. It's just to help warm up, like I said before, just so that last one, when we do our side planks, our shoulders are already prepped to hold our body weight. Now, with this one, you're going to hold this nice shoulder position, long neck, shoulders open, elbows pushing down to the ground, and the ribs are lifted. Now from here, you can have your hand down on the floor if you feel like you need the extra stability, but I would like you to try and have your hand on your hip. Now your leg placement, you can either have it in line with the body or slightly in front, whatever gives you the most stability. So you can see here, I've got both knees stacked. You can have the top leg straight if you like. Pick your poison on what feels comfortable. we're going to take a breath in to prepare. As we breathe out, we're going to try and use these side ab muscles to lift the hip up. Take a breath in and breathing out to come back down. Let's do a few more. Feel free to adjust. Breathe out, lift, and then come back down. We're going to do one more in that slow cadence with the pause at the top. Lift, breathe in, pause, and breathe out, lower. What we're going to do now is we're going to do 5, where we just breathe out to come up and breathe in to lower. Ready? Breathe out, lift, and in, and lift, and in. Breathe, lift for 3, and back down. 4, and 5, and back down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come all the way down, and we're going to give ourselves a nice stretch. Now with this one, we're going to have our knees come up a little bit higher and our hands stacked on top of one another and facing into the front. What we're going to do is when we breathe in, our gaze is going to follow that top hand. We're going to bring it up towards the ceiling and then behind us. So keep your knees stacked. Give it a little squeeze if you need to. Take a breath in, hold, and then coming back. Let's do a few more. We're going to open, breathe into open, expanding the chest nice and wide, and then breathing out to close. Breathing into open, feeling like nice, beautiful stretch, and then breathing out. Try to use those abdominal muscles to bring you back to the start. Breathe in, open, and breathe out, close. And open, really thinking about those fingers reaching away from each other. If you had laser beams on your fingers, they're shooting away from each other when we're nice and open. And close. Let's do 2 more, okay? Just letting those back muscles, ab muscles, nice and stretched out, and then coming back. Lucky last. Opening up. Beautiful. And breathing out to come back. Now, when you're ready, you're going to come down onto the other side. So for me, it will be my right-hand side. Having your head resting down on your arm, but I'm going to be having my head on my hand so I can see what's going on. Now from here, what you're going to be doing is you're going to float those heels up into the air, having a pillow underneath them if you need to. We breathe out, engage, and lift the knee and in to bring it back down. Once again, feel free to adjust your knee and feet position to give you the best workout in your glutes. And lift and in to bring it back down. Keeping the tummy engaged so your pelvis stays nice and steady. We've got 5 more to go. 5, should be feeling this in the glutes. 4, beautiful. 3, 2, and remember on this last one, we're going to come out, hold it, and do 10 kicks. 1, 2, don't let the knee drop down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, lucky last, 10. Feet together, knees down, feet down. Now coming up onto your elbow, we're going to do a few of those shoulder prep exercises to warm up through our shoulders. Remember, we're going to come down like we're chatting with a friend at the beach. We're going to push the elbow down, tuck the rib long through the head. And then coming back down again. Nice to relax, obviously. Don't hurt yourself. If that's uncomfortable to relax down, don't relax down. And then we've got 1 more to go. Just to warm up that shoulder muscle. Push down, lift up. And now we're going to hold that position. What we're going to do now is you can adjust your knees and feet to where it feels comfortable, straight, bent, forwards, backwards, whatever suits. And we're going to try and use those abdominal muscles to lift our pelvis, our hip, up off the mat. You're going to breathe out, lift, breathe in, pause, and breathe out, lower. Feel free to adjust your arm position if you need to, or your leg position. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, pause. And breathe out, lower. Beautiful. One more of this slow pace to do. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, pause. And breathe out, lower. Right, so now what we're going to do, breathe out to come up, breathe in to lower. We're going to do 5 of those. So breathe out and in. And out to lift. And in. 3 more. 3. And back down. 2. And back down. And then 1. And back down. And now coming all the way to the mat, down to the mat, hands in front of the body and stacked on, bringing those knees up a little bit higher. And then what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in, keeping our gaze on that top hand as we open up, reaching through those fingers, opening that chest, knees stay together, and then breathing out to come back, hands on top of hands. Breathing in, up and over, opening up, keep the neck and shoulders open and relaxed, and then breathing out. Try to use those abs to bring you back to the start. Breathing in and out. Breathing in. Think of those laser beams out of your fingertips, reaching further away, and breathing out to come back. Breathing in. Feeling how those abdominals and back muscles are just opening up, and then using a little bit of your abs to bring yourself back to the start. Opening up. That's it. And close. Let's do 3 more on this side. That's it. Breathing in, opening up. 3 and back. Opening up. So 2 and back. That's it. Last one. Breathing in, opening up. Should be able to go a little bit further. And breathing out to close. Beautiful work, guys. What we're going to do now is you're going to come onto your hands and knees. We're going to start off with a few shoulder shrugs, then leg lifts, and then our 4-point kneel to plank. So making sure that your knees are underneath your hips, have a look if need be, and your hands are underneath your shoulders. Now, imagine that you've got a teacup sitting on your pelvis. We don't want any of the tea to spill out, so we don't want to be all over the place with that pelvis. Keep it nice and steady so your lower abs should be gently engaged. Now from here, we're just going to do a few shoulder shrugs. So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe out and we're going to push our hands down into the mat. And you should feel how your shoulders move further down and your shoulder blades move apart. Now what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in. The chest sinks towards the floor and the shoulder blades come together. Breathe out, push the mat away. And in to come back down, just to warm up our shoulders because we're going to keep it nice and steady with these next movements. Okay, so we need to think about what our hands are doing to keep nice and stable through the top part of our body. Yeah, and what I want you to do now is we're going to rest in between those positions. So we know that our hands are down, kind of like we're making a handprint in the sand. We don't want to be really pushing it, but we know that it's there nice and steady. Now from here, what you're going to do is we're going to start with that left leg. We're going to breathe out, engage. We're going to slide the left leg along the ground and lifting it, using a little bit of our glutes. But remember that the teacup on our pelvis doesn't move. Bringing it back in, breathing out, tummy, right leg, lift and reach without losing neutral spine, and then to come back in. Quickly send your awareness to what your hands are doing, making sure that your palms and your hands are gently pushing into the mat and in to bring it back in. And lift and reach. And in to come back in. Keeping the pelvis nice and steady. The abs are on as we reach for that left leg and in to bring it back in. Give your head a little bit of a shake. Is it nice and relaxed? Are you tensing up? If so, think about pushing a little bit more through the outside of your hand. Reach and lift and in to bring it back in. Reach and lift. And in to bring it back in. One more each side. I'm going to do a few 4-point kneel to plank exercise. Yeah. All right. So what you might need to do with this one is come a little bit higher up on your mat. Once again, thinking about that palm print into the mat with your hands, neck is long. What you're going to do is reach back with your left leg, toes are tucked underneath, and I want you to feel how solid that foot is into the ground, the balls of the feet into the ground, and you're going to breathe out and join the other leg. Leg comes back, other leg comes back. Let's do 2 more, coming back with that left leg. So come back, grind and feel where it is, nice and stable. Other leg. Back and back. That's it. Last one. Foot. Other side. Knee back. Foot back. We're going to do 3 now, coming back with the right leg. Once again, palm prints into the ground, leg nice and head nice and relaxed. Right foot back, round the balls of your feet into the ground. Left leg joins, left leg comes back. Then your right. Ready? 2 more. Right, round it down. Left, left comes back in. Then your right. 1 more to go, okay? Right, left, left comes back in. Then right. Good work with that one. What we're going to do now is we're going to bring our knees out towards the outside of your mat and have your toes connected, reaching those fingers in front and sitting back into our child's pose position. What you want to do is feel the length through the body. And what you can do is you can rest your forehead down onto the floor if you would like. Reaching or sliding those fingertips a little bit further away. Now, I want you to think about when you breathe in, your belly is just going to drop and hang towards the floor as we relax all those muscles that we were using before. And then as you breathe out, you're going to feel it just gently lifting away from the mat. Breathing in to the side of the ribs and the belly. And breathing out, feeling the tummy lift a little bit, not too much. Breathing in. Feeling the muscles, your pelvic floor, your abdominals, relax, and then breathing out, drawing up. Breathing in, letting go, breathing out. Just feeling how the breath naturally moves the ribs and the tummy. Keeping nice and relaxed. If you can, sliding your hands a little bit further, sinking your bottom down towards your heels a little bit more if you can. 2 more breaths, breathing into the side of the ribs and the belly. And breathing out, feeling it naturally come up. I don't want you to feel like you're sucking in the tummy. 1 more, breathing in. And then breathing out. And then coming on up. And that's it for today's Tuesday mat class. And I hope to see you all next week. Thank you. Bye.